Miss Richards. He's on the phone.
How does he feel?
Did you see the notices? We got shot down in flames again.
Oh.
Yes, I'd like to speak to Mr. Howard Neiman, please. All right, now, hold on. Hiya, honey.
I just dropped by for a minute. How are you feeling?
I'm not exactly dancing with glee.
Isn't fair.
This is Neiman here. I'm waiting for him to get off the other line.
But it's not fair. You publish books of quality and distinction, and you should get the credit.
Well, you're 100% correct and beautiful besides. Oh, yeah. Hello, Howard. How are you? Oh, no. Now, hold on, will you? I hope you're not going to go around talking like this. Well, for one thing, other people don't read the reviews that carefully. All you do is spread the bad word.
Why shouldn't he be mad? It's a wonderful book.
Oh, that's what I like. Loyalty.
I mean it.
You know, I think I found the solution. Let's just rush right out and publish a kiss.
The door was open. Shall I come in?
Oh! Well, Oscar, by all means. Tiffany, I want you to meet Oscar Nelson, my old friend, a new tax lawyer.
Hello.
And this is Tiffany Richards, and we're being married next month.
And she'll be deductible. Congratulations.
Well, I'm so happy he's got you as a tax lawyer. Don't you think it's just outrageous, the government investigating his back taxes?
Oh, Oscar, think of that clunk from the FBI charging in here and accusing me of fleecing the government out of $6,000.
Wait. In the first place, this clunk is not from the FBI. He's from the Internal Revenue Service. A small but real distinction. In the second place, he is not accusing you of anything. He is merely asking you to produce proof that this $6,000 was legitimate professional expenses.
Well, I have to be running now. I'll see you at the apartment later. Mr. Nelson will handle that revenue man. I'm sure they have you confused with someone else.
Oh, this mess. Actually, it's been a muddle ever since I started paying alimony, and now this tax thing. What am I going to do? You probably read the notices today. I'm not going to make anything on the Neiman book. Somewhere, something's got to give. It's got to be straightened out before Tiffany and I get married.
We'll see what we can do. I've been through most of your checks. I'll want to see your personal files.
Well, they're at the apartment.
I don't care where they are. This is the day we must do them. Let's go.
Now?
Now. What about this one? A grocery bill for 7 Cornish game hens.
Oscar, I can think of only one possible explanation. It's a bill for 7 Cornish game hens.
If you could just tell me.
No, I can't tell you who ate them. All I know is they're deductible Cornish game hens. There must be a list of guests. I'm sorry to be so grouchy. Actually, I appreciate your coming over here on a Saturday. In fact, I appreciate your taking on the whole dumb job. I didn't think you would.
Why not?
Well, you wouldn't handle the divorce.
Bob, how could I have handled the divorce? Mary was just as much my friend as you were. Besides, I never thought you'd go through with it. I thought of you as the golden couple smiling over the steaming bowls of Campbell's chicken soup.
Oh, brother.
What happened?
What happens in any marriage? You're in love and then you're not in love.
Oh.
All right. See, I married Mary because she was so direct and straightforward and said exactly what she meant.
Why did you divorce her?
Because she was so direct and straightforward and said exactly what she meant.
Well, when did you see her last?
8-9 months ago.
Well, you're going to see her this afternoon.
What? I'm going to... What?
Bob, I called Mary in Philadelphia and asked her as a special favor to come up here this afternoon.
Why would you do that? Why in the world would you do that?
Because you have $5,000 worth of canceled checks that you can neither identify nor explain. Some of them Mary signed. I'm hoping that her memory will be a little better than yours. You suggested as much yourself.
Oh, it was a figure of speech. The whole thing is out of the question. Besides, I have an appointment here with Dirk Winston. Any minute. The idea of Mary being here is absolutely...
Hi, darling. Oh, you're still here. I thought you'd have that government thing settled by now.
Not quite.
Oh, you poor darling. I'm going to get you your mid-afternoon cocktail. Would you like one?
Not this early, thank you.
Oh, it's not alcohol. It's raw milk, brewer's yeast, and wheat germ.
Not this early, thank you.
Now, I know it sounds awful, but it's incredible, the energy it gives you.
I'll have to try it sometime.
You have no intention of trying it. And you know what? You should, because you're definitely undernourished. Look at your ears.
What about them? I know they stick out.
They're whitish. Here, let me look at your fingernails. See how pale they are? A really healthy person will have pink fingernails and pink ears. And another thing, a healthy person will have a tongue the color of beefsteak.
No, I'll spare you that.
Well, I'm going to fix you a cocktail, and you're going to try it.
You think that's a lot of damn nonsense.
Shall we get down to business?
Yes. No. Let's get down to this business about Mary. She can't come here. I got an appointment with Dirk Winston.
Not the actor.
That's right. He's written a book.
Sorry to hear
The
that.
story of his life in 318 ungrammatical pages.
Life Among the Oranges. Well, not a bad title.
No, that's fine, I suppose. I can't imagine it on our lists.
Well, I gather you're not going to do it.
No, of course I'm not going to do it. I dread talking to him. There's no right way to tell an author you don't want to publish his book.
If it's not going to be sweet, make it short. I can take Mary into the office.
Don't you leave me alone with her a minute, you hear?
She's only 5'1".
Never mind that. When am I going to get to these galleys? They have to be back to the printer on Monday.
What are you eating?
Dried apricots, full of vitamin C.
The things I'm learning today. What's that one like?
Absolutely fascinating. I want you to read it. Oscar, I can think of only one sure way to clean up in this business. A new series. I'll take the great sex novels, Lady Chatterley, Chapman Report, have them rewritten for the 10 to 12 age group.
It took me longer because the wearing blender's broken.
I don't know whether he's with us or not.
I hope it's all right. I had to use the egg beater.
Now, my dear, I want you to put on your new gray bonnet and get out of here.
But, Bob, aren't we driving up to Goshen? Dad's expecting us.
Oh, certainly. I'll pick you up at 5:30. Make it 6.
But why do I have to go?
Because in my winning boyish way, I'm asking you.
It's getting chilly out here. Oh, I know why you don't want me here. Because that sexy movie actor's coming. And you think in 10 minutes I'll be sitting on his lap giving little growls of rapture.
Nonsense. Why should you care about vulgar good looks when you have me? Yes, you're right. It is getting cold. All right. The truth is my ex-wife is descending on me this afternoon.
It was my suggestion. I thought she might be able to shed some light on this tax matter.
Well, I'm delighted. I want to meet her. I've always wanted to meet her.
Well, you're not gonna meet her.
Oh, yes, I am. This is too sour.
It's not too sour, and you are not going to meet her.
When it tastes sour like that, it means the vitamins aren't meshing.
Darling, will you stop meshing the vitamins and listen? You're a sweet, reasonable girl, and I insist that you stay in character. Besides, I got all those galleys to finish. Now, kiss me and stop all this nonsense.
I won't. I am not going to turn into Joan Fontaine.
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember Joan Fontaine and Rebecca? She was always thinking of the first Mrs. De Winter. She used to imagine she could see her ghost standing on the staircase with the straight black Indian hair floating out behind her. Don't you remember? And she'd shudder when she saw the monograms on the silver brushes.
Silver brushes. Mary used to use plastic combs with little tails. She'd crack off the ends so they'd fit into her purse, and her hair was tied back in a bun.
Now it's too sweet. I'll tell you another reason why I ought to meet Mary. Because we probably have a lot in common. Daddy says that a man goes on making the same mistakes indefinitely.
All right, I get the whole ghastly picture, but I give you my sacred oath as a Yale man. You don't resemble my ex-wife in any way, shape, or form.
Checking travel stubs. I hope everything meshed.
Is that good? I don't resemble your ex-wife. Is that good?
Good. It's a benediction from heaven. Why, you, sweet idiot child, soothe my feathers. Mary, always ruffled them. Life with Mary was like going into a telephone booth with an open umbrella. No matter which way you turned, you got it in the eye.
Well, at last, a plain statement. Now that you've opened up a little, tell me, where did you meet her? Who introduced you?
I don't think we were introduced.
You picked her up?
Oh, yes, I suppose. In a way. Remember that novel we published, Our Kingdom Come? It was sort of an allegory. The pilot of the plane turned out to be God. No, it was all right. Anyway, they made a play out of it. Of course, I had to go to the opening night, and it was awful. It was really grisly. We were all standing outside on the sidewalk at the end of the second act. We were too stunned to talk. In fact, there didn't seem to be anything to say. And finally, this girl spoke. She stood there in a polo coat smoking, and she said, "Well, it's not uneven." So I laughed, and we started to talk.
And you said, "We don't have to go back in there. Let's have a drink."
See, I don't have to tell you. You know.
Did you kiss her that night?
Come on. You get on your coat. You're just stalling for time. Come on.
I bet you did.
Did what?
Kiss her that night.
No. I didn't kiss her for weeks.
Oh, I don't believe it. You kissed me on the second night in an elevator. Do you remember?
Well, I made certain fumbling attempts. But she'd make some little joke like, let's not start something we can't finish in a cab on 44th Street.
Well, for goodness sake, where was she when you finally did kiss her? On an operating table under ether?
No, as it happened, she was in a cab on 44th Street. Somehow or another, she'd gotten her finger slammed in the door, and she pretended it was nothing, and we chatted along, and suddenly, well, this was blocks later, she started to cry. And I looked down at her fingers, and two of the nails were really smashed, and it started out I was trying to comfort her.
That's the most unromantic story I ever heard.
We certainly won't get a movie out of it. I told you, it wasn't worth discussing.
I know, I kept fishing. Did she cry a lot in the taxi cab?
Oh, she never cried again any place, ever, not once.
These figures for 1960, can that represent the total profit?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Oscar, will you get that?
Please, Bob, just let me meet her.
Come on, you're going out the back door, and I'll get you a cab.
I feel like I was caught in a raid.
Oh, hello. Come in.
I'm an old friend.
Yes, I know. You're Dirk Winston. Bob will be right back. My name is Oscar Nelson.
Please, Bob, please.
Her name is Tiffany Richards.
Well, that kind of makes me homesick for the back lot at Paramount. Well, I thought I was late, but suppose I take this downstairs and come back in 10 minutes.
I think recess should be over by that time.
I saw this in an antique shop. It's supposed to be Geronimo, but it looked so much like Jack Warner I couldn't resist.
Oscar?
Mary, darling.
Are you sick?
Of course not. I'm out of my mind. Hey, I want you to concentrate and give me a better hug than that.
Oh, Oscar. Dear Oscar. Lovely to see you. Where is,
Oh, he'll be right back. He just... Wait a minute. What's happened to you? You look absolutely marvelous.
Did you say that right?
Apparently not, as I didn't get an answer.
Well, you see, I had been using an ordinary shampoo, and it left a dull, unattractive film on my hair.
Come on, I'm interested. The hair is different, the clothes, the makeup. Clearly, loving hands have been at work.
Well, you're not supposed to notice. I mean, you're supposed to have an appreciative gleam in your eye. But you don't have to remind me of the dreary hours spent at Elizabeth Arden.
Appreciative gleam? I've been casting you lustful glances. You're just too pure to notice. What caused the transformation?
Well, being divorced is like being hit by a Mack truck. If you live through it, you start looking very carefully to the right and to the left. And while I was looking, I noticed that I was the only 28-year-old girl wearing a polo coat and no lipstick.
I never noticed. Well, let's see if we can locate Bob for you.
No, Oscar, wait, please. Let me have a cigarette first, huh?
You nervous?
Oh, certainly not, but... Well, I haven't seen Bob in 9 months, and of course I could last another 5 minutes. Besides, you and I have a lot of things to talk about. How's Jennifer?
Well, well, she had this illegitimate baby after she met that man from Gristides, but it's all right now.
Oh, good. And how's everything at the office?
You haven't heard one word I said.
You're right. I'm not listening, and I am nervous, and I shouldn't have come.
Mary, do you still...
I don't still anything.
I'm sorry. I should have realized...
Oh, Oscar, stop it. And don't give me that sad spaniel expression as though you just looked at the x-rays. I'm all right, Doctor. I'm just fine.
Well, hello. You, did get here.
Of course. She knew the address.
Oscar?
Be right back.
Hello.
You look very different. You've changed. I was going to ask you how you've been, but I can see. You've been fine.
How about you? Did you ever clear up that case of athlete's foot?
No, you haven't changed.
Well, you know what they say. The more we change, the more we stay the same. Good Lord, these are dried apricots.
What did you think they were?
Ears.
I want to say I appreciate your coming. I'm sure you didn't want to.
Nonsense. It put my mind at ease. You can't think how often I've worried about the philodendron.
Yes, of course, I'm sure. Well, all right. I suppose Oscar has explained to you that my or our 1959-1960 tax return...
My advice is to make a clean breast of it. Admit everything.
Very funny. This doesn't happen to be a subject for comedy. I got to get this straightened out. I'm being married in 2 weeks.
Oh?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you knew. Shirley Oscar?
Oh, yes, of course. It just went right out of my head, that's all. How nice. Do I know her?
No, you don't.
Do you?
Her name is Tiffany Richards.
Tiffany. I'll bet she uses brown ink. And when she writes, she draws little circles over the eyes.
She's a beautiful, lovely girl with a head on her shoulders.
How useful.
You know, you really do have a talent for... You haven't been here 5 minutes and already you've met...
Have a dried apricot.
Oscar, have you fallen asleep in there?
Coming.
All right, shall we get on with this? I know you have to get back to Philadelphia.
No, I'm staying in town tonight. So you may consider that my time is your time.
Okay, Mary. When you look through these checks, most of them you've signed.
Oh, Oscar, I'm not going to remember any of these.
Well, it'll come. Just give yourself time. You understand we're particularly looking for items that might be deductible. Professional entertaining, business gifts, and so forth.
L. Bernstein, $78. Well, that's impossible. The only L. Bernstein I know is Leonard Bernstein, and I don't know Leonard Bernstein.
Well, this is L. Bernstein, DDS, a dentist.
I told you, Sidney Bauer is my dentist.
Dentist. That man in Boston.
What man in Boston?
Oh, don't you remember that crazy restaurant where you had to go downstairs and you thought you had a stone in the curry, but it was your inlay?
Oh.
And we drove all the way to Framingham because he was the only dentist who would take you on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, how is your inlay?
Just grand. How are your crowns?
And we have $25 to the Beach Haven Inn.
That must be yours.
Well, nonsense. I was never... Oh, the Booksellers Convention. That awful hotel with the iron deer in the front.
And the night clerk who looked like Norman Vincent Peale and was so suspicious?
Yeah, no wonder he was so suspicious. He turns around to get a key. And this one. And a voice just loud enough for him to hear says, "Darling, you think we're doing the right thing? Maybe we ought to wait."
Oh, he was delighted to come face to face with sin.
That's why he charges $4 to bring up 3 bottles of beer.
Yeah, and he forgot the bottle opener, so we had to pry them open on the handle of the radiator.
Yeah, and one of them was warm or something, and it shot up to the ceiling and all over one of the beds. So we both had to sleep in the other twin bed.
Oscar, we're being inefficient. We don't need total recall, just the facts. I'll take these checks into the office and I'll make notes on the ones I can remember.
Mary looks wonderful, don't you think?
Great.
Like $1 million.
I'm afraid the figure that comes into my mind is $5,000 in alimony.
Your friend, the actor from California.
Well, Dirk, how are you?
How are you?
Well, it's good to see you. How long has it been?
I don't know. We were still in sailor suits.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm sorry, by the way, do you know...
We met.
Yes.
Dirk is the expert we should consult. You've been married 4 or 5 times. How the hell do you manage it?
Well, I feel like a failure to admit I've only been married 3 times. Actually, I married my first wife twice, so while there were 3 marriages, there were really only 2 wives involved.
Now what, do you pay both of them alimony?
No, my second wife just married a very nice plastic surgeon. He fell in love with her while removing a wart from her shoulder blade. I always thought there was a popular song in that.
What about your first wife?
Oh, she died.
You see, them that has gets.
I know you two have business to talk over, so I'll get back to my arithmetic.
That's right. Down to business.
Dirk, you look great. Younger than ever. How do you manage it?
I tell you, it gets harder and harder. If I don't get 10 full hours sleep, they can't do a close-up. If I eat a ham sandwich after 4 o'clock, it shows on the scale. Ham sandwich, hell, I can gain weight from 2 bare aspirin.
Oh, you sound like the curator of your own museum. Come on now. It's been worth it, hasn't it?
Well, sure. Except you pick up such nutty habits. Do you know what all middle-aged actors do when they're alone in taxicabs?
No, what do they do? What's that for?
That firms up the jawline, old boy. And I'll tell you what I dream of doing. My greatest ambition in life is to let my damn jawline go. That's why I wrote this book.
Oh, I see.
Have you read it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, sure, I read it. Well, now, the question is, shall I be perfectly frank? Hold on now. You bruise easily. Have you shown this to anybody else?
Yes, my agent, who thought it was brave, haunting, and hilarious.
I'm sorry, Dirk, but the truth is, it's not a book at all. For the moment, we'll rule out the quality of the writing.
Well, let's not rule out anything at all. What about the quality of the writing?
Well, it's,
Is lousy the word you're groping for?
well, let's say it's not prose. Actually, it's not even punctuated. I get a feeling you waited until you ran out of breath and then threw in a semicolon. That could be fixed. What can't be fixed is the content. It's nothing but a series of anecdotes, really. It's as though you took up where Luella left off.
Let's get down to cases. How much would it cost to bring out my book with the first printing of, say, 12,000 copies?
$9,000.
Well, let's say I made a check out to you for $18,000. Would you do the book?
If you proposition women with this same kind of finesse, you must get your face slapped quite a lot.
I thought it was worth a try. Don't get mad.
No, I'm not mad. I'm surprised, that's all. Why does this book mean so much to you? Obviously, it isn't the money.
Well, it may sound naive to say it, but being a star, I never killed my urge to become an actor. 10 years ago, I started a campaign for real parts, but the formula was still making money. So I went right on. Passionate kisses, I'd build the Suez Canal. Passionate kisses, I'd open up the Golden West.
Well, now what? You figure you're all through in Hollywood?
Well, technically, no. I still have 2 more pictures to go on my present contract, but when I left, they knew and I knew that I was the sinking ship leaving the rat.
But why this jump into literature?
Well, my press agent thought... Oh, I blame him. I thought it might stir up a little interest in me as a man instead of a wind-up toy. In my fantasies, I imagined this being serialized in the Saturday Evening Post with pictures of me looking very seedy. And suddenly producers would be saying, don't laugh, but do you know who would be perfect for the degenerate father? Dirk Winston.
I finished with my half. Oscar wants to see... Oh, excuse me.
Hello there.
This is my former wife, Mary McKellaway.
And you're Dirk Winston. But your real name is Winston Cribb. Dirk is Cribb spelled backwards.
Lord, how did you remember that?
Oh, I have a head full of the most useless information. I can still remember the names of the Dion quintuplets and the width of the Amazon River.
Oh.
Yes, you'd be surprised how few people care about the width of the Amazon River. I understand you've written a book.
That's what I understood, until I talked to Bob here.
Oh, Bob is a special case. You see, he was frightened at an early age by a bestseller.
Oh, why do you say that? Simply not true. No, I happen to believe there's great wisdom in Emerson's remark. You should never read a book until it's a year old. And I like to think I'm publishing the kind of books that'll be around a year from now. I'm fed up with novels about tangle lives in Scarsdale or Old Salem, for that matter. All he knew was that he was a man and she was a woman, or had he made some dreadful mistake?
Bob, are you coming?
Oh, yes, I'll be right back.
Don't think about me. We're all through. I wouldn't want you to be any clearer.
I suppose I may as well go, too.
Right away?
Don't you have a date?
Yes, I'm meeting Tiffany, but couldn't you spare 5 minutes? There's something I want to ask you before you go.
All right. I used to love your movies. Of course, I didn't see all of them. My mother wouldn't let me.
Well, that's all right. I didn't see all of them either. My agent wouldn't let me. Are you a writer?
No. I work for the Ladies' Home Journal. I edit the letters to the editor.
I mean, they have to be edited?
Mm-hmm. It does seem a little like incest, doesn't it?
Bob did say you were his former wife, didn't he?
That's right.
I'm so glad.
Why?
No, because now I can ask you to have dinner with me. Will you have dinner with me?
Tonight?
Have you got a date?
No. No.
What's wrong with tonight?
Well, nothing. I thought we should know each other a little longer, like, say, another 5 minutes.
You think you're letting yourself in for an orgy, don't you? You think I'm going to ply you with liquor, lure you to my sinful bachelor lodgings, and chase you around the king-size bed?
Well, I've never been plied with liquor before. Maybe I'd like it.
Come on, we'll have dinner. And the Informer's playing at the Museum of Modern Art. I promise you I'll be so respectable you'll find me quite tiresome.
I do have a new dress that would look pretty silly all by itself at Schraff's. Why not? I'd love it. Do you want to pick me up here? What time?
Half an hour.
Fine.
By the way, you don't live here, do you?
Oh, no. We're not as civilized as all of that. This is business.
Fine. Bob, I'll see you. I've got a call into the coast. Half an hour?
Mary, thanks for waiting.
He was alone in the middle of the field. He was grateful once again to be in possession of his own body. The Queen Anne's lace waved in the breeze like 1,000 tiny handkerchiefs. This sounds suspiciously like our friend O'Brenner. No wonder. I thought you weren't going to do this one.
Why?
Because this man writes like a sick elf.
Well, let's skip that. Mary!
Bob!
I've been thinking.
I thought you had an odd expression.
Oh, would it be absolutely impossible for you to listen to me for 3 minutes without making a single wisecrack?
I could try.
I wish you would. I really wish you would. There's something I want to ask you. I can't do it through a barrage of flippancies.
You'd be surprised. I don't feel flippant at all. What is it you wanted to ask me?
Well, you know I'm getting married again.
Yes, I know that.
I find myself stewing over a curious thing that Tiffany said today.
Oh?
Yes. Her idea is that people go right on making the same kind of mistakes, and I had an eerie feeling there was some truth in it. No. What I'm trying to say is I have got to make a better job of it this time. Yes?
I didn't say anything.
But you were thinking...
Look, you say your lines and I'll say my lines. You're hoping for better luck this time. Well, I hope you have better luck this time, but beyond that I have...
You could tell me what I did wrong. When we broke up, I spent many a drunken hour telling myself how it was all your fault. Oh. All right, yes, I know. I'm painting a charming portrait of myself. All right, Bob McKelway, a slob and sorehead. But that's how I felt.
And that's how you still feel?
No! After I calmed down and cleared the last of your bobby pins out of the bathroom, I realized half the trouble had to be me.
And you think it could be divided into two equal parts, like a sandwich?
I think success has no rules, but that you can learn a great deal from failure.
I see. And what you're really looking for is the formula for instant marriage.
No, I'm not as sappy as all that. I'm prepared to make a number of different mistakes this time. I would like not to make the same ones. And I would like some advice.
Had you thought of writing to dear Abby? Oh, Bob, I'm sorry for that. That's just the sort of thing I promised not to say. Oh, but what you're asking is impossible. I can't give you a report card. Is he punctual? Does he complete the tasks assigned? But you know what? This is just like you. This determination to be sensible in a situation where it isn't sensible to be sensible. You want to analyze. Like those people that take an overdose of sleeping pills and then they sit there making notes while they're dying. 4 a.m., vision beginning to blur. You would do that. You know you would.
Maybe.
What shall I say? That you used to leave your ties on the coffee table, and that you always grabbed the New Yorker first and took her to the bathroom, and that you never talked to me in cars?
Of course I talked in cars.
Oh, yeah, sure. To the traffic signals. Come on, damn it, turn green!
I concentrate when I drive.
And you were always asking me those solemn editorial-type questions beginning with, don't you ever order lunch meat? Don't you ever put the lid back on the mayonnaise? Don't you ever put your cigarettes out?
You never in your life put a cigarette out.
And you always put the ice cube trays back in without filling them.
Ice cube trays? Is that all you remember?
Oh. Aren't you forgetting one small detail? You're the one that walked out.
Oh, technically, I suppose that's true.
Technically? There was nothing technical about it. You just got up in the middle of the night and slammed out of here. And you know what? I never knew why.
Like hell you didn't.
All I knew was one moment you were in bed, and the next minute you're up banging drawers and dumping shirts into a suitcase.
And that's all you remember? Let me reconstruct the scene for you. You were in bed reading McCall's. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth. I turned off the lights. I came to bed, I put my arms around you, and you said, okay, let's get those colored lights going.
I said that?
I wouldn't be capable of inventing it.
Was that so terrible?
No, let's say it had the effect of a cold shower when I wasn't in the mood for a cold shower.
I see.
I grant you it was a very small straw to be the last straw. Another time it might have bounced off me, but it had been such a stinker of a day. The Kane book got bad notices, the deal for the cereal rights fell through, and all the usual, except I felt the peculiar need for some warmth. I guess I felt I needed a wife.
I think I was wifely. A lot.
Oh, sure, off and on, between jokes.
Oh. Please don't be embarrassed on my account. I'm delighted. I hate a friendly divorce. A lawyer is never entirely comfortable with a friendly divorce, any more than a good mortician wants to finish his job and then have the patient sit up on the table. Did you read Walter Lippmann today? I thought it was an awfully good piece.
Oh, Oscar, don't be urbane all the time. I can't stand it. Do you see why I didn't want to see her again? When you said she was coming, I should have gone straight through that door. I don't understand it. I thought she'd lost the power to enrage me. Maybe I took the bandages off too soon. Did you forget something?
No, I remembered something. Having made my dramatic exit, I realized that this is where I'm being picked up. So I have to stay here for another 5 minutes.
I see.
And furthermore, I'll have to use your room to change in. Oh, Oscar, if the phone rings, it may be for me. Will you take it? The Algonquin is supposed to call and confirm my room for tonight.
Well, there's a new phone in the... Did you see that?
Never mind. We have something more important to talk about. I have been over all the figures, and am now ready to give my State of the Union address.
First tell me about that tax thing.
Oh, my guess is we'll get it down somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,800, $2,000.
Oh, well, good. That'd be more like it.
You said you wanted my advice on the overall picture. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Tiffany comes from a wealthy family, doesn't she?
What's that got to do with anything?
A lot. She has to be supported. You can't support her. I've now been through what we shall laughingly call your books, and you're not supporting yourself.
You're joking.
Then why aren't you laughing?
Oh, look, now, if you're trying some left-handed way to tell me I can't get married, you're wasting your breath. I'm 34 years old, and this is a
free country. Don't you believe it? People pick up the most erroneous ideas from popular songs. Let me tell you something. If all you've got is the sun in the morning and the moon at night, you're in trouble.
What are we talking about? I take $18,000 a year out of the company, plus bonuses.
That's right.
That's right. Well, that may be cigarette money to the Rockefellers, but it still feels pretty good to me. Listen, I'll tell you. My father never made more than $5,000 a year in his life, yet he put 4 boys through college.
Let's not dwell on the glories of the past. I have the figures for this year. Do you want to hear them?
No, yes, all right. Go on. Sorry, that's good.
All right, we start with your base salary, $18,000, plus $1,000 sales bonus. By the way, that was down from preceding years.
Sales are down.
So that's $19,000. Against that, we have $3,200 rent, $2,580 maid service, $4,900 food and liquor, $5,000 alimony to Mary.
And that's ridiculous. Mary's working.
That was the decision of the court. You can't do a thing about it.
No.
$5,000 to Mary, $680 club dues and entertainment, $600 clothes, $900 books, furnishings, dry cleaning, $1,100 insurance and medical, $2,700 taxes. We now have a total of $21,210. Well, you do have $3,000 in available savings, but most of that will go to that old tax bill.
Let me see this thing.
You can juggle those figures any way you want to, but you can't change the fact that you're already spending $21,000 on an income of $19,000. It's not just that you can't support another wife. You'd be ill-advised to buy a canary.
Look, it can't be as complicated as you're pretending.
Well, actually, it's even more complicated. You must keep in mind that if you ever want to divorce Tiffany, you'd be in a hopeless position financially.
I don't want to divorce Tiffany. Why would I want to divorce Tiffany?
Your attitude does you credit.
Oh, some of these expenses I can cut.
Well, yes, you could move to a cheaper apartment. You don't have to belong to the New York Athletic Club. You might save $700 or $800. However, I've met Tiffany. I doubt that you could keep her in cashmere sweaters for that. She doesn't work, does she?
No. She does volunteer things.
Well, maybe her father would give her an allowance.
Maybe we could take in boarders. Any other bright ideas? What am I supposed to do? Stay single the rest of my life and sleep around? Or remain celibate and take cold showers and get plenty of exercise?
Fortunately, you belong to the athletic club. Hello? That's right. May I take the message? I see. Will you wait 1 minute? They haven't got a single, but they can give you a suite.
I tell him never mind. I'm not going to pay $24 for one night. I'll go to the Biltmore.
If you want to, you can stay here. I'm going up to Goshen for the weekend.
Stay here?
I won't be here. You'll be perfectly safe.
Oh, I'm not worried. I was perfectly safe when you were here.
I shouldn't have divorced her. I should have shot her.
Thank you. I'll make other arrangements.
You know, with my luck, this will be a telegram saying my rich old uncle died and left all his money to a kindly waitress. Oh? Hello again.
Hello. Is she ready?
Who?
Do I get a choice? I'm calling for Mary.
For Mary? For what?
Oh, for dinner, isn't that all right? Should my mother have called your mother?
Don't be ridiculous. I didn't know, that's all.
You see, Bob thinks when he brings a book back to the library, it'll never go out again.
Bob doesn't think anything. I suppose that Mr. Winston only went out with women whose names ended in A, like Lana or Ava. Naturally, I'm puzzled why he wants to take my former wife to dinner.
Because she looked hungry. You idiot, because she strikes me as an extremely attractive girl.
And you would know.
That's right. I don't want to pull rank or anything, but I think it might be fair to assume that I know at least as much about women as you know about books, perhaps more.
But don't get me wrong. I'm delighted you find my former wife attractive. I'm charmed you want to take her out to dinner. If you decide to marry her, I'll send up rockets. In fact, you can count on me as your best man.
Marry her, and you can count on him as your publisher.
Absolutely. There, that's a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that? Oscar's got a head on both his shoulders. All right, no, I mean, I could solve your problems, you could solve my problems.
You've got to be kidding.
Why? This is the age of the deal. You scratch me, I'll scratch you. Don't you read the papers? Why should I be out of touch?
Bob.
No, let's listen to him. I couldn't be more impressed. He has an unmarketable wife. I have an unmarketable book. He thinks we should pool our lack of resources. I haven't had such a fascinating offer in years.
Hello. I think I'm all collected. What are you staring at? Is something showing?
Yes. It looks delicious. Are we ready?
I suppose it's all right if I pick up that bag later tonight.
Certainly. But how will you get in?
Oh, I still have my keys. Have you been missing things?
Shall we be going? The cab is double parked down there.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I think you've got yourself a deal. I think you've got yourself a deal. How about a brandy?
Oh, no, thanks. I think I'm beginning to feel that champagne. Do you realize that we've been here 3 hours? That's the nice thing about having dinner with somebody you're not married to. You have so much more to talk about.
All I found out about you is that you're allergic to penicillin and you love The Catcher in the Rye.
That's all. That's a lot. But I want to hear more about you. Are you going to get your book published?
I'm going to make every possible effort.
Oh.
It gets weaker towards the bottom.
Oh,
Well.
oh, just look at it. Isn't that the silliest snowstorm you ever saw?
I come from California. I think it's a lovely snowstorm.
But look at those big flakes swirling around. It looks so phony, like... Do you remember those big glass paperweights when you turned them upside down it snowed?
Ginger Rogers had one in Kitty Foyle.
That's exactly how this looks.
I'll get a cab if we can find the doorman.
Oh, don't bother. That's casualty number 1 in a snowstorm. The doorman takes the first available cab and he goes home.
Are you very wet?
No, except for my hair.
It doesn't look wet.
Well, you watch. In 5 minutes, it'll be so fuzzy I can cut a piece off and clean my suede shoes.
Would you feel safer if I left the door open?
Oh, dear, I felt perfectly safe until you asked that question.
The question is withdrawn.
Oh, there's that silly bag. Now, remember, you're not going to go back out there with me. I'll get a cab to the hotel.
In this? Well, you'd never. Look, it's worse than ever. And here am I, ready, willing, cheaper. Does everyone tell you how pretty you are?
Oh, you are a good actor. You could play anything. Do you know what? It's really idiotic our going back out in that blizzard. I mean, we're not delivering the serum. Why don't I just stay here?
What about...
Oh, he's safely in Goshen with a lovely, beautiful girl with a head on her shoulders.
You suppose we could have a drink, or did Bob get custody of the liquor?
I'm not sure he uses ice anymore. I think alfalfa keeps.
I wish you wouldn't jump every time you get a compliment.
Well, I suppose I should take a course and find out what a girl should answer when a gentleman asks. And tell me, pretty maiden, are there any more at home like you? Though it would hardly pay. It doesn't come up that often.
I thought all little girls learned that kind of thing when they were 3 years old.
Oh, I'm a very retarded case. It's only just this year I learned how to put my hair up in rollers.
What did you do before that?
Oh, I wore it pulled back in a bun, and if it had to be cut, I cut it. Or I went somewhere and they cut it. Lately, I've been going to Elizabeth Arden, and I want you to know it's a whole new way of life.
So I'm told.
At Arden's, they don't cut the hair, never. They shape it. And they honestly think that a good shaping is as important as a cure for some terrible disease. The hairdresser really blanched when he saw my bun. I could hear him thinking, thank heavens she came to me. Another month and it might have been too late.
Well, I think your hair is lovely. Now say thank you.
Thank you.
See how easy it is?
Yes, tell me more about your book.
What can I tell you? It weighs 3 pounds. It takes 74 cents in stamps to mail it.
Oh, don't talk like that. You mustn't lose faith in it just because Bob didn't like it. Bob is a good publisher, but he makes mistakes.
Mary.
What?
You just said that Bob made mistakes. But how did he ever let you slip through his fingers?
Just lucky, I guess.
I think I'm beginning to see the clue to this little puzzle.
What puzzle?
You.
Me? Oh, I'd love to think I was a puzzle. A woman of mystery, smiling and enigmatic on the surface, but underneath the tigress. I hate to admit it, but what you see is all there is. Underneath this plain girlish exterior, there's a very plain girl.
What happened to make you decide the exterior was so plain? That was the divorce, wasn't it? That was Bob.
Bob? Oh, I decided that when I was 13 years old. We can't blame Bob for everything.
You mean at 13 all by yourself you decided that?
Well, there were others around, but I can't say they gave me any arguments. Do you ever look at little girls?
How little?
You take 2 little girls. One is pink and round and has curly hair and yards of eyelashes, and the other one is pale and bony with thin wispy hair and 2 little ears that keep poking through like the handles on a sugar bowl. Okay, which one of these little girls is going to have to wear braces on her teeth?
The wispy one.
You've got it. Oh, that was me. Braces on my teeth, Band-Aids on my knees, freckles on my nose, all elbows and shoulder blades.
All adolescents go through something. I had the worst case of acne in the history of the world. For 3 years, I was a Technicolor marvel. You wouldn't remember when Fleischmann's yeast was the big thing, but I used to eat Fleischmann's yeast and drink water until I couldn't walk without gurgling. I imagine I was actually fermenting.
I never ate yeast, but I remember once I sent away secretly for some Stillman's freckle cream. And I guess I used too much because I just peeled and peeled. Oh. And I had to pretend it was sunburn in weather like this.
I used to pretend I hated everybody, especially girls, because I was too self-conscious to talk to them.
Oh? Well, you made a spectacular recovery.
I may even have overdone it. But why didn't you...
I'm worried about Philadelphia.
Well, I guess most people are. Why didn't you?
No, I mean about getting home tomorrow in this storm. The 11 o'clock news should be on.
And now let me tell you about your gastric tract. Your gastric tract supplies...
this is it. Right after they fix your gastric tract.
Well, don't duck it. Why didn't you?
Make a recovery? Well, it was different with me. When I was a kid, I mean really a kid, I never worried about the way I looked. I knew I'd grow up to be beautiful, just like my sister Clara.
Was she so beautiful?
Clara? She had bright red hair and brown eyes that always had a faintly startled look, as though she'd just stepped out of a dark theater into the sunlight, and people who met her for the first time were so busy staring they'd forget to finish their sentences.
I can see that would be something of a cross for you.
No, I thought it was insurance. Clara was 6 years older than I was, and I thought, I'll grow up to look just like that. And then one day, I was measuring myself. I was about 14, and I realized that I hadn't grown at all. Not an inch. In a whole year. And then it came to me that I wasn't going to grow anymore. I was up. And I didn't look anything like Clara.
And you weren't satisfied to look like Mary.
Oh, I certainly was not. I went rushing to my father, and I asked him when I was going to look like Clara. Poor man, he didn't know what to say to me. It's almost over. 6 more stomach bubbles.
What did he say?
He said, darling, we wouldn't want 2 Claras. You're the bright one. Well, that did it. I could have faced being plain, but being plain and bright in the high school I went to, that was a beatable combination.
And so you decided to get on the debating team.
How did you know?
All little girls who feel they're not going to be invited to dances get on the debating team.
Well, I wasn't as smart as you. At least not without another drink. Check the weather.
The Southern Bloc referred to the measure as pure socialism. In the meantime, New York, New Jersey, and most of New England are wrapped in a fierce blizzard.
What's the matter?
Don't get on the shoulder of the road. Soft snow. You'll never get out.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. We're very grateful.
It's all right, son. Anytime.
The supermarket said the total amount of cash taken was $800. Thieves.
I had to take it straight. There wasn't any soda left.
There's always water. That's what you were drinking.
Oh.
And you just joined the debating team.
And that was after I worked on the school newspaper. And I imagined all the time I was really Catherine Earnshaw.
Catherine who?
The girl in Wuthering Heights, Kathy.
Oh, Mel Oberon.
That's right. I used to dream that somewhere there was a strange, dark man whose heart was quietly breaking for me. And on rainy nights, I'd open the window and imagine I could hear him calling, "Oh, my wild, sweet Kathy." Oh, the colds I got. And the only dark man I ever saw was the middle-aged dentist who used to adjust the braces on my teeth.
And you're still cross about it.
Is that the way I sound? I don't feel that way. I feel wistful. I think about that sappy little girl, and I wonder what happened to her.
Well, nothing happened. She hasn't changed at all.
Do you mean I haven't changed at all? That's a hell of a thing to say.
Oh, you've changed in your appearance. That's clear to see. But you yourself haven't changed. Somewhere inside, you're still wearing braces on your teeth.
Oh, come now. I came to the big city. I learned to tip waiters. I read The New Yorker. I got married.
And nothing took. You know what's strange?
What?
Here you are, so lovely. And nobody falls in love with you.
Is that so? Where did you get that idea?
From you.
Oh, you're crazy. I never said anything like that. Listen, there were lots of... Well, Bob certainly was in love with me.
You really thought so?
Of course. Why else would he marry me? There was no dowry or anything.
I don't know. Why would he?
Because he felt that we both felt... Listen, what is this? I haven't answered so many questions since I tried to open a charge account at Saks. There must be some genteel, ladylike way of telling you that it's none of your business.
I knew I'd get a rise out of you the moment I said that about Bob.
Then why did you say it?
Of course Bob loved you. You don't believe it. You never believed it.
What did he tell you?
Nothing. You're the evidence. A woman who believes she's attractive has an air about her. You don't. Your reflexes are off.
Oh, I'll match my reflexes with your manners any old day. And now, unless you have some little speech all rehearsed, I suggest that you go upstairs or downstairs or wherever it is you call home.
Now you're mad.
Oh, you are the quick one. Nothing is wasted on you. Of course I'm mad. What did you expect I'd be?
I don't know. I never met anybody quite like you before.
We're even. I never met anybody quite like you before either. Which doesn't explain why I let myself be taken in by that richer, milder, longer-lasting MGM charm.
Oh, were you taken in?
Well, I must have been. Why else would I sit here babbling like an idiot, pouring out my little girlish secrets? That is a part of my regular act. I don't learn. I guess I never will learn.
Mary, do you know how I feel? I feel...
You feel as though you're seeing me for the first time.
You know, there's something you ought to learn. You really ought to learn when to shut up. Shh. Now, once more quickly before you lose your nerve.
I feel dizzy.
Well, that's suitable.
No, it's just that I haven't kissed anybody lately. But it's like riding a bicycle. It does come back to you.
You don't even have to worry about the calories.
You know, you're very nice. And about 95% correct.
About what?
Not a lot of things. Why are you bothering with me?
I'm being bribed.
Oh, I knew that. But there must be other reasons. I like you because you hurt my feelings and you made me lose my temper.
That's a reason?
To me it is. I've gone so long not reacting to anything that it seems somehow reassuring. It's like, well, if you were absolutely convinced you had no feeling in your hand, you'd be relieved to burn your fingers.
What are we going to do for those fingers? Do you know how I feel? I feel that with the slightest encouragement, I could fall in love with you. Now, if you're going to say anything, just say what you're thinking. Don't invent something.
I'm thinking I'd like to believe that. So I will.
That's my girl.
Mary! Mary, what are you doing here?
Don't ask rhetorical questions. Surely you can see what she's doing.
All I really meant was to indicate my surprise that Mary was here. I thought we left it she was going to the Biltmore. I mean, what is the situation now? I mean, are you just coming or going?
I'm staying. What about you?
And we thought you were on your way to Goshen.
Yeah, I was on my way to Goshen, but there's a blizzard out there. We couldn't even get on the thruway.
And I wasn't privy to your change of plans. Do you know, I never in my whole life used that word privy before?
Not even for...
No, never. Oh, don't you just hate places where they have cute names for the men's room?
I hate places that have cute names for places. Do you ever hear of a nightclub called the Shave Wen?
No.
What do you call it when the words are accidentally twisted around, like when the minister says the Lord is the shoving weapon?
Oh, I think that's a Spoonerism. I'm always getting my words twisted like that. I was buying a hammock for the porch at home, and in a crowded elevator, I said, "Miss, where do you have perch furniture?"
Perch furniture?
Yes. Don't you just know the unsuitable things that would go on in perch furniture?
Bob, why don't you get yourself a drink?
Why, thank you. You're the soul of hospitality.
I'm sorry about the ice. It's all gone.
Oh, pay no attention to Bob. It's just that he's systematic. He has all his day planned out. He makes a list. And the snow wasn't on his list, and you weren't on his list.
Oh, but we had a most interesting chat at 6 o'clock. I was definitely in his plans and on his list.
I'm sorry if I sounded rude, but it happens to be 1:30, and any hour now I'd like to know where I'm going to lay my head.
Yes, and I'm sleepy. And I do not wish to go out into the night that covers me black as a pit from pole to pole. Remember? Women and children first. That's the law of the sea. And I'm sure it goes for snowstorms.
Yes, well, naturally, I wouldn't expect you to go out into this. Okay. Would it be all right if I slept here on the couch?
Certainly. Be your guest.
You know, our host is beginning to look glassy-eyed, and since we seem to be sitting on his final resting place, perhaps I'd better be leaving. But it was a lovely evening.
I thought so. I really thought so.
I'll call you in the morning. Is 10 o'clock too early?
10 o'clock is fine.
Good night. Good night.
Well, I'll get myself a blanket and some sheets. I imagine the extra blanket's still in this closet.
I imagine.
Oh, well, it's too bad we can't open a window. The place is full of smoke. I must say, I'm rather surprised at you.
Yes. I'm a little surprised at me, too.
You've been drinking.
Yep. That's exactly what I've been doing. And it's taught me a valuable lesson. Do you know what's the matter with this country? Too much sobriety. Too many sober persons.
May I suggest you get yourself to bed before you pass right out?
No, you may not suggest one thing. I do not require your solicitude.
Solicitude.
All right, that's what I don't require. I feel fine, splendid, top of the morning.
I don't get it. I thought you were the conservative, slow-to-warm-up type. Miss Birdseye Frozen.
There was a rumor like that going around. Isn't it nice to know there's nothing in it?
Mary, look, what you do is none of my business. I know that.
I'm glad you know that.
I never wanted to see you retire to a convent. I think you should go out with other men. I think you ought to get married again, but to some man who's in love with you.
What other kind of a man would marry me?
Oh, there are men, and you don't know what you're getting into here. Oh, the idea of you sitting around necking with that bum. What do you know about him?
Well, let's see. He had a very bad case of acne when he was 14 years old.
Well, that clarifies everything. Let me tell you something, dearie. This league's too fast for you. These glamour boys collect women like stamps. If you want to be added to their collection.
All right. I'll tell you something. He thinks he's falling in love with me.
He said that? Oh, that phony. You couldn't have believed him.
Why not?
Oh, no, honestly, does it seem very likely that big caramel-covered movie idol is just going to come along and 1, 2, 3, bang, fall in love with a girl like you?
Well, I guess I thought it was possible, even with a girl like me. Isn't that the height of something or other?
No, wait a minute. Look, I didn't mean a girl like you. I meant any ordinary...
I know what you meant. How could you be clearer? I'm the drab, colorless type, and I should know better than to believe it when somebody tells me I'm pretty.
Are you going to cry about it?
Maybe. Why not?
'Cause you never cry.
How would you know? I'll cry if I please. And I please.
Mary?
Don't you marry me!
It must have something to do with the position of the moon. I don't get it. Some joker comes along here. He tells you you're beautiful. You go all to pieces. I used to tell you you were beautiful all the time. And your detachment was marvelous to behold.
You never told me I was beautiful.
Of course I did.
No, you didn't. You said you liked the way I looked.
That's the same thing.
It most certainly is not the same thing.
The world is full of people that you like the way they look, but you wouldn't say they were beautiful.
Like who, for instance?
like Carl Sandburg, for instance.
You don't think Carl Sandburg is beautiful? My Lord, the character in that face.
Oh, I'm not talking about character. If there's one thing I'm not interested in having any more of, if there's one thing I am lousy with, it's character. Oh, why did you have to pick tonight? I felt so good, and now I'm cold sober, and everything is spoiled.
I see you're upset. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're not sorry. You're merely embarrassed.
No, what I am is surprised. I never thought I'd see you sobbing on the sofa for all the world like any other woman. Actually, it's quite becoming.
Oh, thank you. I'm so relieved to know that.
Funny. You never cried in the whole 5 years we were married.
Well, I figured you were sensitive enough for both of us. You decided right at the beginning that I was the airy type, impervious to wind and weather and small disappointments.
You make it sound like I invented your character. For that matter. What's wrong with being the airy type?
Well, it got to be a bit of a strain. I felt like I was on some panel show 24 hours a day, smiling affably, humming little snatches of songs, laughing when I didn't know the answers, but affable, affable, affable. Oh, you don't know how I long to wake up some morning and feel free for once to be depressed, to be constipated, to be boring. Oh, all right, I was boring.
No, you were not boring. Strange. We talk so much without communicating.
It was hard to communicate with you. You were always communicating with yourself. The line was busy.
Is that the way it seemed to you?
It seemed to me you were taking your emotional temperature 6 times a day. I could almost hear you asking yourself, am I nervous? Am I tense? Did that upset me? How are you feeling right now?
Well, yes, I mean, you're right. I have a bad habit of asking myself questions, silly questions. Am I nervous? Am I tense? Yes, oh, no. I was more foolish than that. I used to ask myself, why doesn't she love me?
You asked yourself that?
All the time.
Oh, that's why I hate intellectuals. They're all so dumb.
What kind of a statement is that?
An idiotic statement. I should save my breath and remember that I am talking to the most sensible man in the Western Hemisphere.
Oh, why do you harp on that? I'm not all that sensible.
Oh, but you are. You lead a sensible life. You eat a sensible breakfast. You limit yourself to 1 package of cigarettes a day, no more than 2 cocktails before dinner. You're even sensible about sex.
Would you like to explain that, Crack?
Any man that would tap his wife on the shoulder at 11 o'clock and say, are you in the mood tonight? Because if you're not, I'm going to take a sleeping pill, is just about as sensible as you can get.
Well, of course, I don't have Mr. Dirk Winston's technique in these matters.
No, you don't. More's the pity.
Look, I didn't mean to bring out your heavy artillery. All I meant was to save you
From what? From Dirk? But I don't want to be saved.
Now, just a minute.
If he's just toying with my affections, okay. Maybe I'm in the mood to have my affections toyed with.
Mary, I promise you, you don't have the whole picture.
No, but I've seen the preview, and there's not one thing in this whole world you can do about it.
Mary, I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm afraid I just have to.
No, you don't have to, and you aren't going to. I won't listen. I had a lovely time. A lovely time. Do you hear? And you aren't going to spoil it for me. Good night.
Winston's apartment, please. Hello, Dirk. Are you asleep? No, I didn't call to ask if you were asleep. Listen, I'm coming down there. I got to talk to you. Oh, no. It won't keep until Monday. Listen, it'll only take 5 minutes. Yeah. All right. 5 minutes. All right.
Do you want the alarm clock or shall I keep it?
No, you keep it. I'm hardly likely to oversleep on that silly sofa. I'm lucky if I get to sleep.
Suit yourself.
What now?
I'm looking for something to read.
The place is full of books. What do you want?
I want something guaranteed not to improve my mind. Gathering storm. Oh, Dirk's book. That's the very thing.
Well, okay. Will you go to bed?
Okay. I'm going. Oh.
I don't think you should go out like that. There's a snowstorm.
Oh, that's all right. I got a heater in my sled.
Don't catch cold.
And what can I do for you?
What's that?
Oh, it strengthens my trigger finger. It's my answer to the method. You want to try it?
No, thanks.
Oh, it's not finished yet.
Very, very nice. Who's your decorator, Vic Tanny?
Would you like a drink?
No, of course not.
Well, there must be some reason why you come barging in here at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Is dipsomania the only thing that occurs to you? It's this situation.
This what?
You know damn well that all this talk about you and Mary and my publishing your book was supposed to be a joke.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
So you knew I wasn't serious.
Oh, but you were serious. You had the wild-eyed look of a man who knows he's just spoken a true word in jest.
All right. I shot off my face. A bad habit I must nip in the full bloom. But I want it clearly understood I never at any time intended to make a deal with you involving Mary.
Well, I thought it was an admirable plan. You wouldn't have been losing a wife, you'd have been gaining an author.
You got the whole thing straight now?
Certainly.
Good.
Sure you won't try?
I never dreamt you were this anxious to get into print, and I never thought that Mary, of all people, would sink into girlish incoherence at her first exposure to an actor.
Why do you say of all people, Mary?
Because she's got some sense that she should swallow such a corny line.
You describe everything you don't understand as corny.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Will you stop hiding all over this room and listen?
To what? You have some other little confidence to tell me?
No, I guess that's all. Sorry, I shut your horse off. You see, I had to clear things up, huh? All right, I'll make your excuses to Mary in the morning.
You'll what?
I'll tell you had to go back to Hollywood for retakes or whatever people go back to Hollywood for.
Why would you tell her that?
Well, surely you don't think you'd be doing her a kindness by continuing this little farce.
I'm not interested in doing her a kindness, and I am going to see her.
Why? I thought we talked things out. I thought we understood each other.
Oh, yes, and you listened very carefully to every word you had to say.
What do you mean?
I mean, you should take that paper bag off your head. You see everything but the obvious. What kind of a jerk are you? How dare you suppose that Mary is some kind of a charity case? How'd you get off to suggest that any man who's interested in her has to have 3 ulterior motives?
Well, I don't think that.
You have a very good impression of somebody who thought that. Now, what I told Mary may well have sounded corny. It seems I lack literary qualities everywhere. It was not a line. You know, talking to you, I begin to see why Mary is so shy.
Mary? Shy?
That's right, shy. And insecure. You probably don't believe that either, even though you are at least 2/3 responsible.
How can I be responsible?
I don't know. Maybe you treated her as though she was intelligent.
Well, she is intelligent.
There you go. Let me ask you something. Where did you get the habit of making assumptions based only on assumptions? Was your father a lawyer?
Yes, I'll put the whole thing in a letter.
Oh, forget it. Oh. I'd like to say just one thing to you before you go. Leave her alone, huh? Just leave her alone, okay? I mean tonight.
Are you nuts? I'm getting married in 2 weeks.
A dandy. I'll send you a pair of bookends.
Operator, would you ring this number? My number. Mary, this is Bob. I'm in the living room.
Mike, you are in the living room. What do you want? What do you want?
Oh, stop it and hang up. You're just trying to make me look foolish.
I'm trying to make you look foolish? Who called me from the living room?
Well, I wasn't going to go barging into your bedroom. There was something I had to say, and there didn't seem to be any reason why I couldn't say it on the telephone.
I'll go back in. You call me again.
Stay where you are. This will just take a minute. I feel, in all fairness, I have an obligation to tell you I was wrong, apparently, about Mr. Winston.
And by what curious process did you arrive at this conclusion?
I talked to him. I was just down there.
You didn't.
Oh, don't worry. He merely told me I was an insensitive clunk who didn't appreciate you.
And what did you say?
Oh, a number of stupid things. It was not my finest hour. But when he says that I didn't appreciate you, that's hogwash. Because I appreciated you all right. I wasn't able to handle you.
Don't reproach yourself. I didn't win any prizes for the way I handled you. It takes at least one to make a marriage.
You know how you feel when you got a full cup of coffee in your hand and you have to sneeze? There's nothing you can do but just let it splash. That's how I feel in all my relationships anymore. Just helpless, unable to coordinate. Just splashing everybody.
You're just tired.
Oh, listen, you should have heard my various exchanges with Winston today. Yeah, no, glad you didn't. Talk about a comedy of errors. I try to grasp all sides of the picture. Nobody believes that. But I try.
Bob, honey. Bob, I believe it. I certainly believe it, but I honestly think you're so busy grasping all sides of the picture that you never stand back and see it.
Okay, give me an example.
All right. I've been reading Dirk's book, and I haven't gotten very far, but I think it's good.
I don't want to talk about...
No, you're going to let me finish now. I don't think it'll win any Pulitzer Prize, but it's readable, and it's nice and gossipy. I think it would sell.
I didn't say it wouldn't sell. I said I didn't want to do it.
Why not?
We had that out 100 times before.
Bob, you won't believe this, but I'm glad you have standards. I wouldn't want you to settle for trash, but it's no crime to stay in business. You've got to keep the shop open or you won't be there when a masterpiece comes along. Let me get it for you. I'm willing to make a small bet that you can open it at any page at all and find something that's nice and interesting. Maybe it goes to pieces at the end. I don't know. But, okay, well, just open it anywhere. Starlets have a reputation for being dumb only because they have such blank expressions. And the smarter they are, the blanker they look. Because they've learned that it's impossible to register any emotion without using some muscle, which, in time, will produce a wrinkle. Even to look a tiny bit puzzled causes twin lines over the bridge of the nose. Like this. By the time she's 30, a starlet has been carefully taught to smile like a dead halibut. The eyes widen, the mouth drops open, but the eye muscles are never involved. They don't smile like this. See? That they get wrinkled. They smile like this. Well, you don't think that's funny?
Haven't you got a robe?
What? What do you mean, haven't I got a robe?
You think it's right for you to be sitting around in your night clothes?
My night clothes? Good Lord, you would think I was wearing a black lace bikini. 8 million times you've seen me in pajamas.
We were married then.
Well, look at it this way. The divorce won't be final for 2 weeks.
That may be precisely the point.
Oh, my. We are so proper. Do you feel yourself in danger of being compromised? Oh, don't worry so much. If I should suddenly throw myself upon you, you could always scream.
Oh, shut up.
However, as it happens, I don't have a robe. There must be something around here. Oh, yes, here we are. There. Now, I trust this will show my good faith and restore your sense of fitness.
And how do you think you're looking at?
I don't know. Kind of cute, maybe?
Boy, all of a sudden you're pretty cocky, aren't you?
All of a sudden, it took months. It was work, every minute.
But it was worth it. Think of having Dirk Winston making passes at you. Well, that must be like getting the good housekeeping seal of approval.
Sort of.
When you kissed him, I hope you didn't damage his porcelain crowns.
Oh, we can't worry about everything. Oh, never mind about his crowns. Let's talk about his book.
I'm not going to talk about anything with you with that damn coat on. You look like Jackie Coogan in The Kid. Come on, take it off. You only put it on to make me look like an idiot.
Oh, no. Please. You ripped the button.
The hell with the button. That's as far as I mean to go. You do me a favor, will you? Go to bed.
Certainly. What are you so intense about?
Because I'm the intense type. Surely you've remarked on that before. I'm asking myself how I feel. I feel wretched.
What's the matter?
You know what's the matter. I'm feeling all involved again, and I won't have it. I was getting over you so nicely. I was cured. Oh, my Lord, I feel like somebody who just got out of the hospital after 9 long months and fell down in the lobby and broke a leg. And you did it. Deliberately.
Did it? Did what?
Oh, if you want to pretend your only purpose in the last half hour was to change my opinion about the book, all right.
Oh, but I gather I'm not fooling you, great student of character that you are.
Oh, no? What did you have in mind? Curled up on the couch, cute as all get out, in your little pink pajamas. No, wait a minute. I'll tell you. You were conducting a little experiment.
I was?
Yes. Oh, you wanted to see, just for the record, if old Bob would leap to the bait like our friend, Mr. Winston. You wanted to check and see if there were any little twinges left. Well,
I was just wondering if that could possibly be true.
Oh, there's no reason for you to be kept in suspense. Yes, if you want to know, I do still feel twinges. Lord, help me every now and then a sharp one. Now what do you have to say?
I don't know. It sounds like a gallbladder attack. Bob, I'm sorry. Where are you going?
Where am I going? Out. What am I going to do? Nothing.
But Bob, don't be silly. It's still snowing. You'll get pneumonia. Oh, Bob! But where can you possibly go at this hour? They'll think you're crazy. I must keep my big mouth shut. I must keep my big mouth shut. I must keep my big mouth shut. Big mouth shut. I must keep my big mouth shut. Hello? For heaven's sakes, hello. Oh, excuse me. I'm coming. Bob. Hello, good morning. You must be...
Yes, I'm Tiffany Richards, and you're Mary, aren't you? Well, I'm delighted to meet you. May I come in?
Oh, certainly, by all means. I don't know where Bob is.
Oh, he's probably out taking a walk. I've been getting him to take walks before breakfast lately. It's the very best thing for a sluggish colon.
Yes, I imagine it would be.
But I never dreamed I'd find you here. And I'm so glad it worked out this way. I've been dying to meet you, and it's a good thing Bob isn't here.
Why?
Oh, he'd be bustling me right out the front door. For some reason, he was determined I wasn't going to meet you. You know, you're much shorter than I expected.
Oh, it's just that I haven't got any shoes on.
It's just that Bob always makes you sound so overpowering. I expected someone with a husky voice who said darling a lot. You know, harlequin glasses, big jangling bracelets, black velvet toreador pants.
Oh, but I do have a bracelet that jangles. I just don't wear it to bed.
Oh, I can tell what you're like just by looking at you. I think you're nice.
Oh, dear.
What's the matter?
Oh, it's just that it's so early and you want to be frank and disarming.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. It's just my low metabolism. I don't grasp things this early in the day. I mean, I hear voices all right, but I can't pick out the verbs.
You probably don't eat right. My grandmother's like that.
Oh, no. Oh, no, it's not possible. The way I feel, and I don't have any cigarettes. Oh.
Look, I wouldn't bother you, but Bob will be back, and then I'll never get a chance to ask you.
Ask me? Ask me what?
Well, I guess I should warn you. I'm a very practical kind of person. People tease me about it all the time. Last Christmas, when I went to Palm Beach, everybody thought I was crazy because I took along my sun lamp, except that it rained every day, and I was the only one who came back with a tan.
Yes, but what is it you wanted to ask me?
Oh, I was getting to that. Daddy always said before you move into a house, you should consult the former tenant.
Oh.
The person who's been living there will know where the storm windows are, and if there's a leak in the basement, why should you spend 6 months finding out for yourself?
But they don't have storm windows in this building.
Oh, I'm not talking about the apartment. I'm talking about Bob.
You want to know if Bob has a leak in the basement? Oh, excuse me, but you don't happen to have a cigarette on you, do you?
Oh, I'm very sorry. I don't smoke. It's not that I worry about lung cancer, but it does stain your teeth.
Well, I worry terribly about lung cancer, and I also worry about shortness of breath and heart disease. But what really worries me right this minute is that I am not going to find a cigarette.
I guess you never do find out. My cousin Harriet knew this boy for 7 years. I mean, she thought she knew him. On the day they were married, they took an overnight train to Chicago. And when they shut the door of their roomette, you know the very first thing he did?
No, and don't tell me.
They picked up a package of book matches. He opened the cover and started picking his teeth like this. Hi.
Well, this is cozy. Tiffany, I'm sorry. I should have explained to you last night that you'd find Mary here. Of course, I didn't know last night. Suppose you've introduced yourselves.
Yes, of course. The goldfish.
Morning, Mary.
Morning, Bob. Did you have to go without your overcoat?
At the time, I thought so.
Well, I made up your bed. I expected... What did you do?
Walked, mostly.
Don't tell me you're out of cigarettes, too.
Yes, and you'll find some in the desk drawer.
No, I looked.
Oh, did you try behind the...
Yes, I looked every place. I even looked in the stamp drawer, and the last refuge of all, the Chinese vase.
Oh, don't tell me I'm going to have to go trudging back out into that snow.
Just for a cigarette? Would you like some breakfast? There's some orange-flavored yogurt.
Oh, no, Lord, no. Tiffany, be a lamb. When you fold up the sheet, there may be some under the...
See, if you hadn't dumped every single ashtray last night, I could find some medium-sized, but...
Now, we must remain calm. It's statistically impossible that in this whole big apartment there isn't one single... Just ask yourself, where would you go if you were a cigarette?
Oh, there. Did you ever see anything so pretty in your life?
But they're all squashed.
Oh.
That's real coffee.
Coffee? What's that about coffee?
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Well, there must be something.
No, I mean, we heard this announcer on television, and it was late at night, and I guess the poor joker got confused. Anyway, he came to the cigarette commercial, and he sucked in and smiled. He said, that's real coffee. Well, you see, it really wasn't worth going into. All right, well, which reminds me, I haven't had any coffee. I think I'd better get some on.
How long does it take to have little private jokes? What? Never mind. I must stop asking questions for which there are no answers. This sheet isn't even mussed. Nobody slept on this sofa last night.
No, Bob was going to, but...
He changed his mind.
Well, the sofa's a little short for him. Anyway, he decided that...
He'd rather sleep with you.
You mean for old time's sake? No, indeed. Bob went... Well, as a matter of fact, I don't know where he went, but he certainly wasn't here, as you'll discover when you ask him.
I won't ask him.
Because you don't believe me?
No, I don't.
Tiffany, when you get a little older, you'll learn not to invent problems. All you have to do is wait, and the real ones turn up.
In a way, I'm just as glad it happened.
You are?
Bob's attitude toward you has always been a little mysterious. I'm hoping this might clear the air.
Oh, and your theory is that he's a little homesick, and a trip back to the old place may cure him?
All right, yes. That's what I think.
Bob, I'm afraid our little secret is out.
What little secret?
No, Bob, please. Tiffany knows, and she's being very understanding.
Would you care to be plainer? I'm simply not up to riddles this morning.
Certainly. What I'm trying to say is that Tiffany is glad we slept together last night. She thinks it will clear the air.
What did you say? What?
I really must get dressed.
I hear her correctly?
Bob, whatever you do, please don't apologize.
You're right, I won't apologize.
All right, but are you going to snap at me?
Wait a minute. You accept this as a fact? You're not even disturbed?
Should I be?
I can think of 6 reasons why you ought to be. You can't even think of one?
It's not like it was somebody new. It's not like you planned it. You were put back into an old situation and you fell into an old pattern.
I see.
Anybody will tell you that the force of habit is stronger than love even.
And in spite of the fact that I stayed with my ex-wife, you're willing to marry me?
Certainly.
Haven't you got any principles, any ethics?
How did my principles ever get into this? What have I done?
Well, I gotta get some asprin. I gotta get something to clear my head.
Oh, what's the matter?
You heard of the lost weekend? Well, this is the found weekend, and it's worse.
I'll get some water.
Boy, I got a feeling in my bones this is gonna be one little peach of a day. I gotta get something to clear my head, or I'm gonna goof. I'm gonna make some crucial mistake. Where the devil is Oscar?
On Sunday? What do you want with Oscar? Also take 2 of those large vitamin pills.
Why?
Alcohol works directly on the bloodstream. If you drink too much, it lowers the white count, which is one reason why...
Don't give me the details. All right, I've taken 3. I feel my white blood count going up already.
Bob, you didn't take these.
You told me to.
You idiot, these aren't vitamins.
What are they?
Sleeping pills.
Oh, great.
Do you feel peculiar?
No, not yet.
Well, you will. We better do something.
No, wait a minute. Wait. It won't kill me. You have to take a whole bottle, 120 or something. Oh, good. That'll be Oscar.
Don't sit down. I think you're supposed to keep walking around.
You're thinking of concussion.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, you're Dirk Winston.
That's right.
Come in. I'm Tiffany Richards, and we have a problem. Bob has taken some sleeping pills.
Bob has.
Oh, Tiffany, don't turn this into a melodrama.
Do you think you could get him some coffee? I'll run down to the drugstore and see if I can get some Benzedrine or Dexameth.
They won't give you that without a prescription.
They'll give me something. Don't you worry. You will watch out for him, won't you?
Like a mother, don't worry. Why did you do it?
Because my life has suddenly become ashes. I didn't know which way to turn.
I come off it. How many did you take?
3.
3?
Look, I got the bottles mixed up. I thought I was taking vitamins. Are there any more questions?
Yes, where's Mary?
The last time I saw her, she was in pajamas. I think we may safely assume she's dressing.
The devil are you so irritable about?
Because I had a rotten night. I drank too much and slept too little.
You're not fooling anybody. You're mad as a hornet because I'm here to get Mary.
Why should I be mad? I'm delighted.
You sound delighted.
Never mind my inflections. I just haven't had your training.
You know, there's something very mysterious about your feeling for Mary. It's like gas. You can't get it up and you can't get it down.
Oh, there's a touch of the poet in you.
Good morning.
Good morning. You just getting up?
Oh, I've been up for an hour. In fact, I've already had a heart-to-heart talk with Miss Richards.
Well, I gotta have some coffee.
Oh, would you bring me some too, please? And a Danish.
Cut down the middle and no butter? Yeah, it's all right. I'll get it.
You know, I woke up this morning thinking, what nice thing has just happened to me, and it was you.
You're very sweet. And not like a movie actor at all.
Sure I am. Movie actors are just ordinary, mixed-up people with agents.
I should think it would be fun to be Dirk Winston.
Oh, it is. Has all kinds of advantages. I can walk into any restaurant at all, and the head waiter automatically brings me a large peppermill. Now, doctors don't get peppermills, or lawyers. But that's not all. The head waiter stands right there until I use it. Now, I don't want him to feel a failure, and so I grind away. With the result, I've had too much pepper on everything for 20 years. I love the way you smile.
Dirk, I want you to know I'll never forget last night. You couldn't possibly know what you did for me.
Yes, but what have I done for you lately?
Oh, I'm not joking. I'm terribly pleased and gratified.
Gratified? I don't want you to be gratified. I want you to be interested. I want to feel it would cause you a real pang if you thought you weren't going to see me again.
Oh, Dirk, it would. It does.
Mary, the studio called me at 8 o'clock. They insist I fly to New Orleans this morning for some personal appearance stuff. That picture I made is opening on Thursday.
In New Orleans?
Well, it's called The King of the Mardi Gras. That's how the great minds in publicity operate. The mayor meets me at the airport and hands me a praline or some idiotic thing. Anyway, there's nothing I can do about it that's in my contract. But here's the point. Why don't you come along?
But, Dirk, I'm a working girl.
Well, surely they can get along without you for 1 week. Never underestimate the power of the Ladies' Home Journal.
But you don't do things like that.
Oh, sure you do. You call up and you say you've just had a recurrence of an old football injury. Well, we could have a lot of fun. We could get to know each other.
But, Dirk, I don't go off on trips with movie stars. I mean, I read about people like that in the Journal American, and I'm scandalized.
Come on, be rash. Fly now, pay later.
Dirk, we seem to be all out of everything. Could I ask you to go downstairs to the bakery and pick up half a dozen Danish? It's for Mary.
Oh, let's have toast, anything.
No, there's nothing there. I'd go myself, but I'm feeling so groggy.
I don't have that much time.
It's in the building. Just turn left, right, after you get off the elevator.
Started life as a messenger boy.
Oh, don't bother.
No, it's all right. I have to see if they've got my luggage in the lobby anyway. Mary, think about it, huh?
I don't know who ate them. There was the whole box full last night.
I stuffed them in the wastebasket.
What?
I wanted to get them out of here so I could talk to you.
Well, if that isn't the dumbest thing, why should he have to go all the way?
It won't hurt him a bit. You know, I'd like to shake you until your teeth rattled.
Oh, come on. In your whole life, you never even shook a bottle of magnesia.
Why would you tell Tiffany that we slept together last night?
Look, Bob, whether you believe it or not, I said nothing to give Tiffany that impression.
Well, then why would she?
I don't know. Some people have such a talent for making the best of a bad situation that they go around creating bad situations so that they can make the best of them.
She didn't seem upset at all.
Upset? I got the impression she was delighted.
I know. I don't understand it. Don't understand anything. Mary, I'm so miserable.
Why?
You should know why. Look, in all the months that we've been separated, have you been happier?
No.
Well, have you ever thought we might get back together again?
It crossed my mind.
Would you consider it?
Bob, do you know what you're saying? Do you mean it?
I do mean it. I've been behaving like a damned adolescent, refusing to face the simple facts.
What simple facts?
Let's take the whole thing in sequence. A, I wanted a divorce from you because, it boils down to something as simple as I didn't think you understood me, okay? B, the minute we got divorced, I realized what I should have known in the first place. I'm the kind of a man who has to be married.
Oh. Is that what you discovered?
Yes, absolutely. This business of going from flower to flower never did appeal to me. I hate to live alone. I hate to sleep alone. I keep finding myself sitting in the bathroom at 4 o'clock in the morning reading old magazines. So I decided to get married again. That's C. Under the circumstances, it seemed like the logical thing to do.
I'd say so.
Yes, but wait a minute. Now I discover that Tiffany really believes that I would actually sleep with one woman on the very eve of getting married to another. By this time, she ought to know me better than that. It's not my character. I'm too square. But the point remains, she doesn't understand me either.
Okay, we've had A, B, and C. What about D?
Well, I ask myself, am I walking with my eyes wide open into another case of incompatibility? In 5 years, will it be another divorce? But I don't think I can face it.
No, and there would be more alimony, too.
Ugh. More alimony, more scenes, more confusion. The thing is, you and I may be incompatible, but we know all about it now. I think we ought to get married again. It would be the reasonable, sensible thing to do.
Don't you?
You clunk! You block of wood! You're dumb! You're obtuse! Do you know something? I was so much in love with you that when you left, I thought I'd die. That's right. Big, healthy, well-adjusted Mary. I thought I might just possibly die. I used to sleep with the light on because in the beginning I'd wake up in the dark and forget where I was, and I'd reach out for you. Do you know if I saw a man ahead of me in the subway who walked like you or had shoulders like you, I used to feel faint. Really faint. And you have the gall to stand there and talk to me about the sensible reasons why I should come back to you. You and your stinking ABCs.
Wait a minute. Just because I try to be rational doesn't mean I don't feel anything.
Well, we won't really know till after the autopsy. Let me give you a little piece of advice. I think you should go right ahead and marry Tiffany. It would be more than a marriage. It would be a merger. You would be as happy as two IBM machines clicking away together.
So you're not coming back?
That's right. A, I don't want to. B, I don't want to. C, I don't want to.
What don't you want to do?
Oh, hello, Oscar.
Well, I got your message. I'm shocked to see you looking so well.
What do you mean?
Well, the answering service said it was absolutely urgent that I get over here this morning. Urgent was underlined 3 times. I presumed you were at death's door waiting for me to draw up your will.
No, of course. It was nothing important. It was really something quite minor. I mean, it could have waited.
Why don't you tell him why you called him up this morning and asked him to come over? He thought he'd come back and find nobody here but me, and he'd be left alone with me. But think of it. You're too late. The damage has been done.
That's right. You listen to her. She knows my mind so much better than I do.
Oscar, when you go back over his accounts, you may deduct the amount he pays me in alimony. I don't want it. I never wanted it. I'm working now, and I don't need it.
Don't be noble. There's no necessity.
Oh, but there is. Do you realize if this poor soul had to go on paying alimony to me, he could never divorce Tiffany? Oscar, I sat at home and waited 9 long months for him to call. Well, I'm not sitting home any longer. Now I'm going to pack.
Congratulations. You seem to have solved everything.
Oh, Oscar, you don't know what you're talking about. Even my problems have problems. What am I going to do? I can't marry Tiffany. She pushes in the bottoms of chocolates.
I never thought you would marry Tiffany.
Oh, stop sounding like an owl. Tell me what to do.
Get Mary back.
That's the conclusion I came to, but how?
Ask her.
Ask her? Last night I pleaded with her. Today I tried to reason with her.
Oh, so that's what she's so mad about?
Yeah. Can you tell me why that should make a woman mad?
Not in the time we have at our disposal. But I can tell you, you'd be better off giving her one idiotic reason.
What do you mean?
Well, tell her you want her back so you can bite her shoulders.
You try to tell her something.
It's too hot.
You know, she's absolutely convinced that I never noticed that she was pretty. I mean, what does she think? I just arrived in from Mars? I got 2 eyes. She was always pretty. The first time I saw her with that pale face and that pale hair, she looked to me like a lovely piece of white porcelain.
Did you tell her?
You crazy. She would have said, white porcelain? You mean like the kitchen sink?
Oh, come on now. You exaggerate.
I exaggerate. Oh, you don't even know the half of it. She thinks I'm made of cast iron, that I never even felt a pang, like I was just some sort of a vegetable. You know why I put that stinking phone in the bedroom? Because after we broke up, I was afraid she might call me some night in the middle of the night. I wanted to be sure I'd hear it. And before she leaves today, I'll tell her about the phone. She's going to hear a few plain truths. She's not going to call me a block of wood. She's not going to call.
Darling, how do you feel? Are you all right? Hello, Mr. Nelson. I don't know what this is, but he said it would help.
Tiffany, it was sweet of you to dash out and get things.
Bob, You have something to tell me. You've had something to tell me ever since you came in this morning.
What? No, I didn't. No, I don't.
You think you're inscrutable. You're the most scrutable man I've ever met. Now, sleepy or no, tell me. You know, if you repress things, eventually you become devious. Now, tell me.
There, you see, the poor Oscar, he's going to think you've taken an overdose of something.
Don't worry about Oscar. He hasn't been surprised by anything since Truman was elected president. Tell me.
Tiffany, honey, please.
All right. I'll tell you. You've discovered you're still in love with Mary.
Did I say anything whatsoever to lead you to believe that?
Of course not, and you never would. You'd be much too embarrassed. You'd think it was adolescent and rather bad taste. Instead, you were going to tell me all the reasons why it would be a mistake for me to marry you. I figured it all out while I was going to the drugstore.
Oh, no, not today.
Well, what are the reasons? I'm interested, even if Bob isn't.
Well, one, he's 13 years older than I am. That may not seem important now, but in 10 years, the gap will seem even wider. Then, two, he's a divorced man, which makes him a bad risk to start with. A girl of my age really deserves better than that. Finally, he's not a rich man. He could never provide the Dior Originals and the Sable Stoles that a girl of my upbringing would naturally expect.
Nonsense. I never thought about that part about the money. It never occurred to me.
But all the rest of it did occur to you.
I don't mind being a louse. What hurts is I seem to be such an inept louse.
Tiffany, honey, what should I say?
I've got the buns.
Congratulations.
I thought only horses could sleep standing up.
Bob is exceptional. We shall not see his like again. What's the matter with you?
I took... Oh, I should have cards printed. I took 3 sleeping pills by accident.
Freud says there are no accidents. I think he wanted to pass out.
Dirk, I bet if I said I was coming to New Orleans with you, you'd go right into shock.
What do you want to bet? Mary, are you coming?
I have half a mind to. I used to be superior to this kind of thing, but any minute now I'll be too old.
That's right. You'll be 70. You'll have nothing to repent.
May I come too? She might need a lawyer.
But you wouldn't go and leave Bob like that. You could cover him with a sheet. How can you be so unfeeling?
Oh, but my dear, he has you. And when he wakes up, he has all those dried apricots.
But he doesn't have me, not anymore. We had an intelligent talk, and I'm leaving.
That's my boy.
I wish you could hear this. I suggest you toss a coin. The loser takes Bob.
Something important's going on. I gotta keep awake.
Honey, you know this plane is being met by a gaggle of city officials. That means you have to make up your mind. We have to leave right away.
Yes, I realize
You
that.
understand that once you get on that plane, you can't change your mind and get off at 125th Street. Now, I think we should thrash this out.
That's what I think.
Oh, sure. Why don't we call in David Susskind and have a panel discussion? Oh, Oscar, I don't mean to be short with you, but if I want to go with Dirk, why shouldn't I?
Well, for one thing, when a conservative person like yourself decides to embark on an indiscretion, you should practice up on little things before you fly off with a movie actor. You don't start at the top.
You see what she means. There's a hierarchy of skill.
Just a minute. What makes you all so certain that I'm just a movie actor on the make and that Mary's just another pickup?
Well, he's a cigarette holder. And here her very own husband wants her back.
He is no longer my very own husband.
Oh, but he was.
Hey, I take this one. Remember, you and Bob chose each other. Now, you tell me you chose Bob in spite of his faults. I tell you you chose him because of his faults. What is missing in him may be necessary for what is missing in you. Let us not to the marriage of true impediments admit minds.
Am I hearing right? Are you suggesting these two people stay together for mutual therapy? I haven't heard anything so dumb since my press agent told me he was getting married because it made it easier to register at the plaza.
Under what circumstances are you in favor of marriage?
What do you mean, in favor? Marriage isn't something that has to be supported like low-cost housing or the Bill of Rights. Marriage is something that happens like a sneeze, like lightning. Mary, I'll ask you once more. Will you take a chance? Will you come with me?
Why should she take a chance? You still yearn after Bob! I know you do.
Are we going to be naive about this? Asking me whether I yearn after Bob is about as sensible as asking a reformed alcoholic whether he ever thinks about bourbon. What difference does it make? I'm on the wagon for good and sufficient reasons, and I feel a lot better. Dirk, I am going with you.
Where are you going? Where's she going?
She's going to New Orleans with me.
Nonsense. I wouldn't let her go as far as the mailbox with you.
Look, Van Winkle, you have nothing whatever to say about it.
That's what you think. I got something very important to say, and I've been trying to say it since 6 o'clock this morning. Now, everybody listen.
I think we should call a doctor. I don't like his color.
I don't like his color either, but I didn't like it yesterday. Come on, Mary, let's get out of here and leave winking, blinking, and nodding.
But what if he really
Wait
happens
a minute,
to be...
wait a minute. It's coming back to me now. Mary, no, you're not, Mary.
I don't know if you can hear me, but goodbye, Bob.
You're one of the chief causes of why I'm so confused. Don't you ever kiss my wife again.
Bob, you're making a fool of yourself.
You shut up. And you leave her alone. She can't cope with a lounge lizard like you. Why, she's got more goodness in her whole body than you have in your little finger. Oh.
All right, Dirk. The poor soul doesn't know what he's talking about.
No! I'm talking about you, you dumb little idiot.
Bob!
You're not going any place with anybody.
You out of your mind?
I haven't slept in 9 months, and I'm sick of it.
Hand me that key. If you were in good condition, I could take it.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, it's an absolutely true statement.
What on earth did you do that for?
I would have swallowed it, but it was too big.
Oh! Let me out of here this minute!
Mary, that lunatic has thrown the key out in the snow.
Oh.
And what are we going to do now?
Oh, the snow will melt in a day or two.
In the movies, they just break the door down.
In the movies, the door is pieced together by the special effects man. All you have to do is blow on it.
Dirk, are you still there?
Of course I'm still here.
Well, you shouldn't be. Go this minute.
No.
Please, Dirk, the people will be waiting, and the studio will be furious.
Well, let them be furious. I'll call them up. Lord, I can't even get them now. And if I don't show up, the columns will all say I was drunk or being held somewhere on a morals charge.
Dirk!
Yes, I am going, honey. I'm going because I don't see what else I can do. I'll call you tonight and we'll set up something.
All right, Dirk, but go.
I rely on you as the only sane member of this group to get her out of here.
It's been grand seeing you. Do come again.
Goodbye. Where's my book?
What are you talking about? You offered this book to me. You can't take it back.
Well, you said it stank.
I did not. I said it wasn't punctuated. I'll punctuate it.
You'd better let him keep it, or he'll throw it out in the snow.
And I left Hollywood and came to New York because I wanted to be among intelligent people. You know, I made 3 pictures for Cecil B. DeMille, and he once said to me, if ever you want to get hold of a woman, don't talk to her. Get hold of her. Pick her up and carry her away. And I thought to myself, this man is a jerk. Cecil, forgive me.
Mary? Mary?
You don't suppose she's fallen asleep?
No, I suppose she's too mad to talk.
Why don't you try calling a locksmith? Just start with the A's.
I'd stay if there was anything I could do.
Oh, Tiffany.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Tiffany, you really are a very sweet girl.
Yes, I am. Goodbye, Mr. Nelson.
Goodbye, my dear. If you're ever looking for a job, I have a large law office and could always use a girl like you.
Thank you.
You're not too upset, are you?
Oh, I'll be upset tomorrow when the Novocaine wears off. But even tomorrow, I think I'm going to feel it's just as well.
Why?
I was attracted to Bob in the first place because he wasn't attracted to me. That intrigued me. I don't want to sound conceited, but when you're 21 and you're sort of pretty and very rich, you get used to men falling in love with you. But now I ask myself, is it enough that a man is not attracted to you? Goodbye.
Hello. Is this the locksmith?
Yep.
I got a woman locked in here.
You know her?
Certainly I know her. Can you get over here right away?
It's Sunday.
I know it's Sunday.
It'll cost you extra.
All right, it'll be extra.
What's the address?
91 East 71st Street, apartment 1003.
I'll be there.
Fine. He's coming right over.
Good, that I may safely take my departure.
Oscar, you wouldn't leave me alone with her.
You'll have the locksmith.
Yeah, but what'll I say?
As little as possible.
No,
my boy, this dismal scene you needs must act alone.
You think she'll take the next plane after him?
Well, there are other rooms, other keys.
Oh, you're a big help.
All my clients tell me that. I'll call you tomorrow.
Mary? The locksmith's coming. How'd you get the door open?
My keys.
You mean you could have?
Yes, I could have.
I know I behave like a slob doing this.
Like a slob.
I mean, I made a spectacle out of myself.
You certainly did. It was the silliest thing I ever saw. And you know what? I was so proud.
Oh, Mary. My sweet, beautiful darling. I always thought you were beautiful. I thought you were as beautiful as a piece of white porcelain.
White porcelain? You mean like the... Oh, that's very sweet. I missed your shoulder more than anything.
100 times I would have crawled on my hands and knees to Philadelphia. I was afraid you... Mary. Come home.
I'm home.
Oh, Mary. What am I going to do?
Why? What's the matter, darling?
I'm falling asleep again.
That's all right.
Yeah, but how are we going to get those colored lights going?
We'll manage.